And for more now on the president's role in this week's deadly siege on the Capitol, we bring in ABC News contributor Kate Shaw, constitutional law professor at Cardozo Law.
Right.
Thanks so much for joining us, Kate. Now, the president encouraged his supporters this week with words like, "You'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength." Do you think that President Trump committed any crime here? And what about protections for free speech?
I think he possibly did commit incitement to violence. I think there's at least a real case that he did. And in terms of protection for speech, you know, the First Amendment is typically viewed as a protection that we as private citizens have against the government. So it protects us from the government repressing our speech if say, it doesn't like it. But it's not ordinarily something we think of as the government possessing. So it would be unusual as a matter of the Constitution for the president to say he's immune from the consequences of his speech because of the First Amendment. It's just not typically how the Constitution works.
While there is no precedent, could President Trump pardon himself before he leaves office? And what would that protect him from exactly? Because that's just for federal prosecution, correct? And for example, if it were to be inciting a riot, is that a federal crime?
So, to the first question, yes, he absolutely could pardon himself, although it's never been done before. But whether that would actually shield him from criminal prosecution is a different question. So take first the question of federal prosecution. Just because he pardons himself doesn't mean the Department of Justice under the Biden administration would necessarily agree that that pardon was valid. I think there's actually an argument that pardoning himself would make the Justice Department potentially even more likely to attempt to pursue criminal charges against him, in part because it would be a dangerous precedent to allow a president to pardon himself and thereby escape all criminal responsibility, at least in the federal system. And the Department of Justice has typically taken the position that a self-pardon is not permissible. So it's not even clear it would shield him from federal prosecution, but it definitely wouldn't shield him from any kind of state prosecution. So take, for example, criminal proceedings in Georgia based on his phone call to Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. Nothing in a pardon, whether it's a pardon that he gives himself or potentially that a Vice President Mike Pence as acting president, if President Trump leaves office, might give him, none of that would shield him from potential state criminal prosecution.
And we've heard words used like sedition, insurrection, even treason, but the federal charges so far are along the lines of disorderly conduct and forcibly entering a restricted building. Were these acts by the people who are part of this mob more sinister than that, more like sedition?
You know, Lindsay, I think the reason we're seeing charges along the line of breaking and entering and trespassing at this point is because those are very easy charges to prove. I don't think we should assume we won't see anything more serious. So you mentioned sedition and seditious conspiracy. Those are both federal criminal offenses, and they require basically conspiring to overthrow or harm the government or to obstruct the execution of the laws. And I think it's just that those kinds of charges just take more time to build. So you're going to need to figure out what the intention of some of these players was, what conversations preceded the storming of the Capitol. So I would well imagine those kinds of charges are being considered. They just may take more time to build.
Kate Shaw, thank you as always for your insight. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.